Hey, what's going on, Richard? How you doing, brother? It's been a minute since I got to do a live stream. As you know, I'm redoing the inside of my house because the floor caved in. Last month's been a pain in the ass, so I haven't been doing anything with YouTube at all. Uh, Finally got the floor repaired and everything. Got some flooring laid and walls framed. Got a tile in a shower and sheetrock insulation left. So been pretty much all I've been focusing on. Everything kind of went full stop. Walked in and fell through the floor. So you was just about to ask how much it would be to have a Gladius forged. Well, I happen to have one already forged. It's, you see where it's drawn on. I gotta still do some grind because it goes here, skinny waist, and it flares back down to the hilt there, you know. Tend to hilt up a little bit. Still got to grind on it because the sword's pretty damn thin. It's already real thin. Hasn't been heat treated yet, but you know, as you see, it's already pretty thin. This one I'm working on, I've had it going for a little while as a side project. There's no claim on it yet, so talk to me. I mean, said he was going to ask how much it would be to have a Gladius made by me. Don't know. Let's see how it looks when it turns out. What do you think? We'll get finished. Get some folks in here and then we'll start doing some grinding. I gotta grind on this part first, right here. You can see I need to bring the hilt to there for the guard because there's no ricassos on the Gladius, as Sam Town pointed out. And let you know about the knife. You talking about the hunter with the W2 with the pine cone handle, Jorge? Is that what you're talking about? Amazing barbecue. I've got it here. I've got to do some work on the handle, but your knife is pretty much done. Here's your knife. Work on the handle, get the sheath done, because the knife needs to have the handle cleaned up, brought up to grit and polished, and then the scales itself need to be polished a little better. But here's your knife. I haven't forgot about you at all with the spacers. So there that is, man. If I'm not mistaken, you want a horizontal carry. If I'm not mistaken, I have to go look at the paperwork. It's in the house in the office. But yeah, sorry, I wanted to have that knife to you last month, man. But like I said, this past month, 4 weeks ago, my damn floor caved in at my back door, and I sent some pictures to some folks. Some folks have seen it, and what it ended up being was my water heater had busted a while back, and apparently water got down under my flooring and into my subfloor, destroyed the subfloor, and rotted it, and also coupled with having kids, young kids that think the bathtubs are swimming pools, just on the other side of the wall from the laundry room and where the water heater is, laundry room, and my back door is all in the same. It's the mud room basically. So on the other side of the wall from where that is the kids' bathroom, and they flooded it too. So what ended up happening was once I started tearing the floor out in one room, I had to tear into the other room. So I had to take out walls between the bathroom and my kid's bedroom, the wall out in the hallway. It just walls down, and it's been a nightmare the last month because you just keep on going, you know. Finally you get to a point where, okay, I'm not tearing into the next room, so I've got to stop at this room. And I'm in the rebuild phase, so still got tile left, still got sheetrock and all that, but the floor's fixed. The subfloor's down, bettered subfloor instead of the pressboard flooring shit they put in these houses, you know. Sister did some good joists in there, cross members, sturdied it up where my freezer's gonna go, all that good shit. That's all I've been doing for the last month, really. So I want to take a break from that, aside from tool orders and stuff. Take a break. So I'm gonna work on this Gladius. Yeah, one repair turns into another $5,000. You damn right. It sucks. I got in-laws coming at the end of this month that I've got to have a bathroom ready for them. So I've got a long way to go. Next week I'm going to be changing the plumbing because we're not putting a bathtub back in the bathroom. We're going to go with a tile shower, and that's it. They're not having a bathtub no more. Playing like you're at the YMCA splashing in the pool. You're going to take a damn shower, and that's it. You know, but I've got to have that done. Hey, appreciate it, Richard. Yeah, Richard got some barbecue from me when he came down the other weekend, and he told me it's the best barbecue he ever had in his life. Yeah, I'm doing well. I mean, I'm no worse for the wear. It's just, holy shit. What else can break? I don't want to ask that. God, please, I shouldn't ask that. It's like, challenge accepted is what it'll be like. No, shit just keeps me on my toes. It really does. I'm glad you guys are in. I have this smoke. I'm going to put my mask on, and we're going to grind on this Gladius a little bit, try and get it down to shape. Hopefully get it to the point where I'm ready to heat treat it today. I'd like to heat treat it later today. My kid's leaving here in about an hour. I'm going to be kid free, heat treat this, and then I'm going to go get back in the house and work now that I ain't got any kids here. Just going to keep them out of my hair for a little while. Let me get more done. If you got kids, you know what I mean. When you're trying to build something or whatever, it's awesome for the first week. They're so interested in everything, and then after that, you want to get it done, and it's like, guys, watch from a distance. Hold my beer. Chris, you think you got something on me on that barbecue, man? You better put it up or shut up, brother, because I got the game when it comes to barbecue, man. I don't slack in that department. By any means, brother. If you got good barbecue, don't talk about it, be about it. Hey, Michael, what's up? I promise we're going to do some work, guys. I'm not just here to yap at you. At least I'm standing up instead of sitting down. At least you know I'm going to get going here in just a second. Yeah, I do a pretty mean butt. I do some badass beef ribs, too, on special occasions. They're just so damn expensive. We're talking cooking up beef ribs for 10 people, 10 people, you know. It's you're looking at $100+ for beef ribs. For good ones, worth cooking on them little tiny skinny ass ribs. Some good thick fat marbleized beef spare ribs. Got some other blades here I'm working on as well. This one's already sold. This wood's probably going to become one of my favorite woods just because it's like a hologram. The way the light hits it, without that, the lighting was right in here, it would sparkle. This blood wood. See, facing me when I'm not facing the light, that lighter color in there is like metallic, it seems. The shit sparkles in lower light. It's pretty badass. But these Serbian cleavers are pretty cool. Yeah, I've got two of these. Here's one that's finished. It's ready to go out. It comes with that kind of sheath blade cover right there. Nice blade cover. And these bastards are sharp. I've got a video on my Facebook of me cutting up that butt I did last weekend. And I mean, these suckers are sharp. This one's ready to go. That's got this black walnut handle. I think I'm going to start offering those more. They're not too difficult to make. I can keep the cost down on them, and they're very, very useful blade in the kitchen when you're doing meats off the grill, you know. They're really, really good for that. This one I've still got to bring that bevel up to grit, sharpen, hit it with the Scotch-Brite belts, stuff like that. I like a matte finish on these. I don't like a high shine because they're rustic. I got to hit this with something because the grinder had to knock a high down right there for the handle, and I don't like exposing those marks there, so I'm gonna darken that back up, hit it with the wire wheel, and it'll give it this look again. The other side doesn't have that. It's got that little spot there, but that's a super glue finish on the handle, believe it or not. That's what a super glue finish will do for your handles. For the wood, completely seals it. Enough layers. It all levels out when you sand it down, then it polishes up to a high shine. And it's not real slick. It's kind of grippy, Super glue, cheap ass super glue, literally, the cheapest super glue you can get. This is the stuff that I use, literally. 99 cents for like a 6-pack of these, and 1 or 2 tubes will do a whole handle cover. Like, you put it on nice and thick, let it dry, sand it up to like 220, put it on thick again, let it dry, and after about the 3rd or 4th coat, it'll all level out. And once it levels out, take it up to 400, 600 grit, whatever you want, and then hit it with some white buffing compound on. You hit it with some white buffing compound on the buffer, and that's what it does. I don't accelerate it at all. Just let it go. Put it on there and just let it dry. Just put the shit on there and let it dry. Sometimes it takes a while, depending on the temperature, the humidity, or whatever. It'll take a little bit to dry. If it's a real light coat, it dries quick. And it's contact adhesive is what it is, so it dries even faster. If you touch the shit, you'll have a dry spot where your finger touched it, and everything else will be still wet. So don't touch it. Just screw up the finish. Just let it dry. You'll know when it's dry. It'll have a haze to it. It won't be shiny. And you sand it with hand sanding. I buy these 50-yard rolls right here. And that's 400 grit there. I got a roll of, I need to get a new roll, but I got 220, 400, and 800, and those little 1-inch rolls. It was cheap. It was like $10 for that long ass 50-yard roll of hand sand. Take you months to go through it, really. All right, so let's grind on this. Let's grind on it. What do y'all think? Get my space suit on. I like my little space suit. Works pretty good. You just can't hear anything with it, really. There's a big fan blowing in your head. I don't even know. Can you guys hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Alright, cool, you can hear me. Right now I'm going to work on profile. Try to get this profile a little closer to where I want it. Alright, it's got that nice belly, or whatever you want to call it, to it. Waist. Slims up a bit. Flares back to the bottom. Now we gotta take care of that. Now you can't hear me. Alright, Richard. Y'all share the stream if you could, please. I probably dropped out of YouTube's algorithm where even my followers don't even know most of the time if I'm going live or not. So share it for me, would you? That's going to take a minute to do that. So I'm going to do it differently. Go back to the platen. I'm just going to use the belt. Wonder what the hell that was. I set my thing down and the damn light's going out. That's really weird. Alright, you see, I brought that in. The end of my blade is where the guard will marry up. And I'll get that a lot closer later on with some blade stops and stuff like that. Nice true line across there. But that's close enough for now for rough grinding. What's on my head? Oh, it's a PAPR. It's one of those things Alex still wears. It's not as fancy as his. His has the air pack that you wear on your waist, where mine's just a battery pack. The head unit plugs in, and in the back of the head unit has the fan and everything. You hear it? Yeah. And it blows through that pink filter up in there and blows air down in my face. And I just put tape on this just to get a good seal around this thing, because it's got elastic there that goes up around my face. And it's like air conditioning for your head while you're grinding. I don't smell any of the grinding dust, none of that shit. This was given to me by Christian Gerber over at CG Smithin'. Check him out on YouTube. CG Smithin'. Cool ass dude. He sent it to me. He worked in the mines and stuff up in Canada, and he had a couple of them that he got from his time there. And he said I was welcome to have one, so he sent me one. Free of charge, all I paid for was shipping, man. So you can't ask for nothing better than that. That's awesome of him. Huge shout out to the dude, for real. It's changed my world in here grinding, made things a whole lot healthier for me. As far as masks go, PPE. Alright, now we are going to swap this out for, well, let's grind on this a little bit more before we go back to the bevels. We're almost thin enough to where I'm happy to go ahead and heat treat it. As you can see, it's pretty thin already.
Turning up the transition here. Polonius finger in the water.
got that area thinned down enough for now pre-heat treat, I believe. I'm definitely going to go thinner with it after the heat treat. I don't want to go too thin and screw it up. But I think where I'm at now with it, this slot, that slot there, I have another platen that attaches to this. I don't know how to use it though. The seller didn't really explain that at all. And I haven't wanted to talk to the seller enough to ask him because I'm not really happy with the grinder. But this thing is another platen arm. Right here. This bolts in like so. Or like so. From the back side. And but it goes like that. I think. I'm not 100% sure. That's why I haven't attached it, but I know it goes to this fucking thing right here. It might go like this. Quite possibly goes like this, yes. And another platen, this one here, that I never use, would go through this. If it was open, it would go through there and goes up underneath here like this some fucking way. But I don't know what to do with it. I don't have any fucking clue why there's a platen up top there, maybe for grinding on top, like that. I feel like you could achieve that function by putting a pivot just on this platen to let it turn. I don't know. But I paid extra money for that, a couple $100 extra dollars, and it's like a $300 fucking paperweight. I don't like it. Shouldn't have bought it. Totally regret buying the grinder for what it's worth. An integral grinding plate. I'm not sure what that means. All I know is even my home built grinder had a pivot function for the platen where I didn't have to have all that extra bullshit on it. I was misunderstanding what the super platen attachment was on that grinder whenever I bought it. I thought the super platen was like another contact wheel to give you a slack belt portion at the top or something like that, but apparently I was wrong. That attachment's just for the platen. I was hoping I was getting a wheel with it. So I don't know what to use it for. Like I said, I explained it to a few people. I'm just displeased with the $3,000 grinder that's behind me. Spent a lot of money on that fucking thing for it to throw belts and all kinds of crazy shit. For grinding the transition from the integral to the blade. I don't really know what that means. I know what you're talking about, but I don't understand how that platen arm up there would help do that. It's just another platen on the top of your grinder instead of on the front. I'm missing something here. I shaved my beard off long ago, man. I shaved my beard off Marchish, something like that. Around March. Yeah, somewhere around March I shaved the beard. I mean, I know what you're talking about. The bolster, integral bolsters, things like that on a chef's knife. Why would? What exactly, how does that thing help grind that I can't do with the front platen? Is my question. You're saying it's to help grind those integrals. Eh, I'm not down. I'm just swamped. Shit falling apart in the house. Kind of glad the build of my power hammer's delayed until around Christmas time. I got an email the other day about it saying that they're starting to build parts for it, so it'll be somewhere more around Christmas than October, end of October. Not getting into too much because of the house fucking up. That kind of dipped into the other half of the balance for the power hammer, so I'm slowly replacing that. You know, a lot going on. I still haven't filled the fucking raffle for the Bowie knife. I can't believe that shit. It filled up stupid fast last time. Now this time, now that you know, Wiley gave it back to me, said he feels like it should be in a better home than in a drawer. Remember, I'm still raffling this thing, guys. And I'm amazed that there's still like 13, 14 slots left. I've had this thing up since June trying to fill it. People are saying, no, don't refund me my money. Just hold on till it fills, no matter how long it takes. Because there's certain people that really, really, really want this knife that steadily buy slots. They're going to end up buying the damn knife and the amount of slots they're buying. So that's kind of got me bummed out because that money was I was under the impression it'd fill up a lot faster. So it's, you know, it isn't filled up as fast as I wanted. I was kind of counting on that. So, but knife sales have been good, so it's kind of helped balance it a little bit. But at the same time, you know, when the floor falling through like it did, it kind of slowed me down big time. So orders are way fucking backed up. And that eats at me. It bothers me because I got good customers and good followers and supporters that don't deserve that kind of shit. But what can I do? You know? See, I'm not blaming the coronavirus because I'm going to say that it's been, I'm an anomaly, but it's actually been a better year financially for me and my family this year than ever, weirdly enough. If you're fortunate to have a spouse or yourself that's in a business that was getting all the hours they could stand because they were considered essential, you know, then it's actually been quite productive. I wouldn't say lucrative because I'm not rolling in cash at all, but I've seen a marked increase in my sales and stuff because I think people that were still working because they didn't differentiate into the stimulus check. If you made below a certain amount every year, you got his full amount, and it didn't matter if you were fucking working or not. So people were still working, plus got that stimulus check. So they splurged. And I think most blacksmiths I know spent their stimulus checks in my Etsy shop, to be honest with you. So it actually was beneficial for me to have blacksmiths that are hobby smiths that still work all day. They got that stimulus check. They finally got extra cash because they're still getting their money, their paycheck normally, plus the stimulus check. So it was a good year for me. You know what I'm saying? You know, and then you got some folks that did get laid off with the unemployment was actually making more than they were when they were working. So that actually helped them spend money too. And it's helped my business. So I'm not going to blame it on Corona because it's actually been opposite for me, believe it or not. My small business has done well. See, yours went into your shop. Exactly. You know, a lot of people felt the same way and they went to my Etsy shop. I've got a guy over in Europe. He ain't even part of the stimulus coronavirus package that we got or whatever. And coronavirus hit them just as hard, you know. Uh, he's on his second order of hammers from me. And when he orders 3, 4 at a time. And it's his second order in 2 months. The first order was in August, you know. So I've been lucky about that. My issue is the time to do it. It's the overwhelming feeling swamped because I'm backed up so bad because of the house. You know, that's my problem. You know, I feel like I can't please everybody, and I've always been a people pleaser. I want to make sure everybody that spends their money with me is happy with their experience and their tool they got. And when it's a month late, people that don't really follow my channel but found me on Etsy, and they're like, "Where's my shit at? It's a month late. I'm gonna fucking complain now and give you a bad review." And other people that see, oh, it takes them forever to make shit. The people that order, some people that order from me don't even fucking know me. You know, don't follow me on YouTube or nothing like that. So they don't understand that I am a very small business, a one-man shop, and I do have a house to maintain at the same time, and shit falls apart, and I'm not rich, so I can't pay somebody to fix my house while I still work. I have to take off work and fix it, because I couldn't fix my house right now if it was for that. If I had to pay somebody to do that, I'd be looking at $15,000 in repairs or better, and there's no fucking way I can do that. So I've got to do it slowly as I can, and I'm by myself doing it slowly, so it's even slower. So when I get the plywood, it takes longer than normal to put it down because I'm all alone doing it. I can't pay the help, you know. But it's getting there. And I'm not doing it half-assed, so I'm taking my time with it to make sure it's done right and done to where it's going to last another 30, 40 years before I ever have another inkling of it maybe needing to be done again. It takes time. It shuts down a small business like myself, and it's disheartening. So I guess, like you've asked, you know, you're not seeing down. So I guess it kind of shows on my face. It shows, you know, no quad state this year either. That's been fucking bumming. You know, I'm used to going up there in September and going to the festival, the fairgrounds. I had a plan for a bloom this year. You know, between that and the Ren Fair that I was supposed to work this year is with the blacksmith, and that was going to make me a nice chunk of change. That got canceled too, so I didn't get to do that. So that's been a real bummer. But they told us all these trade shows and all these craft set shows and all these art gallery shows and stuff, you know, festivals wouldn't be operating. And they didn't have an idea, and I don't want to blame the government for that shit because it's unprecedented. They didn't know how long things would take, what would happen. So they canceled everything out of, you know, being proactive as a prophylactic, I guess. They canceled stuff to limit the spread of stuff. Well, then they've changed. They've reopened states. Our state's still fucking closed, but I can go to South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, no problem. But in our state, they're very limited on things they're allowed to be done in public, which is one of the few states that's still completely locked down. But anyways, what I'm getting at is the people like myself that, as a blacksmith, it's not, you don't sit at a craft table and you make 100 of these things in a day and sell them for $5 a pop at a craft show. It doesn't take very long to get super stocked up, stuff like that. Stuff that we make is more painstaking, time consuming. And when they come to you, oh, well, we've changed our mind and we're going to have these festivals second week in October. Well, here it is last week of September, and they're asking, do you want your table? I'm like, well, I'd fucking love to, but I don't have any stock for these shows because everything was canceled. I put all my time and effort into other things because everything got canceled for the year. So I can't just show up to a show with 2 weeks notice and expect to have enough stock to even make it worth my time to drive out there for a day, much less 3 or 4. You know. So them's the breaks. I mean, it's how things go. Feast or famine. But as far as tool sales and everything, orders, 3 or 4 times as many orders as I normally get on my website or my Etsy shop. So that has definitely offset the loss that I have sustained from not being able to take and sell tools at Quad State or go and sell at these small craft shows, things like that. That's right. If the president can get it, that's absolutely right. And that's not a partisan statement whatsoever. I don't care what party you're on. You have to understand that if you're in proximity to the president, you are tested every day, every single day. When you come in, before you get anywhere near him, you're tested every day. Every single person's tested. So I don't care what party you side with. If everybody that comes in contact with you is tested every single day, and you still end up with it, what's to say all this shutdown's worth it? Because at the end of the day, still got it. Somebody that is more protected and secluded from people just walking up and fucking touching them and talking to them and coughing on them than anybody else in the free world, and they still got the shit. So Why not just open everything back up? That's proof right there. Is it ain't gonna matter what the fuck you do. If you're gonna get it, you're gonna get it. You know. So it's I don't care which way you go with it. You know. Obviously, the virus doesn't care what side you vote on. They don't give a shit. And it's a bad virus. It's terrible, absolutely. And I get that we have to mitigate as much loss and damage as possible as a country. At a certain point, how detrimental are the actions you're taking to the country to mitigate these losses? When no matter what you're doing, people are still getting it. Some certain point you got to put it on personal responsibility. It's up to you to protect yourself from it. There's no more that I can force other people to do. I can't force other people to go through hell and suffer 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 out of fear of maybe getting it. When if it's going to get to you, it's going to get to you. That's absolutely right. And a lot of people don't consider that because a lot of their daily necessities and daily functions that they do in their life are more deadly than anything that the government ever tries to scare you of. They work up these fucking hurricanes that they're so terrifying and deadly, and they are. But they're also limited. You know, people jump up every day and take off down the road, and they don't realize that thousands of people die a day in car wrecks or more. That's on par with the count for coronavirus. You know? But nobody bats an eye at that. Nobody thinks about how many people get hit by a train, get hit by a car. You know, every day on the news around here, pedestrian struck by a car. Anybody, it can happen. You never know. Shootings galore, hundreds. Not even. You're more likely to get fucking shot and killed than you are to die of the coronavirus. Especially depending on where you live. But yeah, that's what's been up with me, man. Trying to decide which fire to put out first, really. You know. Kind of a shitty analogy, though, to be honest with you, what's going on out in California, but to be perfectly honest, is what it feels like here. Everything goes to hell, and you scramble to try and fix it all. You know, you do what you got to do. Yeah, I'm not a fan of fear mongering either. I'm a fan of, well, Neil deGrasse Tyson said it one time on a, I think it was on, I was watching Hot Ones the other day, sitting here working, and he was on Hot Ones, and they asked him about the whole cancel culture, fearmonger, and shit like that. I think it was, and he said the worst thing for humankind was the internet. No matter how much information's at your fingertips, it'll never counter effect the fact of poor ideas spreading fast. And if you think about it, he goes into explaining it. He says, you know, before the internet, you know, you didn't have a damn clue if there was other people on the planet, because when you lived inside your area at that time, you lived in the radius of your home, a certain mile radius. You went to work. Your daily travel was your life, so you were affected by and who you affected, the people. You know, you had views of the same because you lived in that area, and you most likely shared the views of the people around you. You know, and that's all you knew of it. You were oblivious to how other people felt elsewhere, unless you turned on a news channel or, you know, read a newspaper article or something like that. You didn't have the internet telling you every day what everybody else is thinking. You know, so if you had a stupid fucking idea like the sky was made of chocolate chips and sourdough bread, you probably thought you were the only dumbass in the world that had that idea, and you never escaped your mouth because you was afraid that you was gonna look like a fucking idiot if you said it, right? Well, now with the internet, you can just Google, is this guy made of chocolate chips and sourdough? And good chances that it's going to pop up that there's other dumbasses in this world that's thinking just like you. And now, once you see that, it kind of validates in your head that maybe I'm not so fucking dumb after all. Other people think like me. So just because you have access to other dumbass people all over the world does not make your reality any better. It just means there's more dumbass people in this world than you thought. And that's how he explained it. And it's kind of shocked. I was like, he's fucking right, you know. Just because other people share your ideas doesn't mean they're good ideas. And the internet has expounded that, you know, completely because now you have the access to Google. How many other people are as stupid as you? Fear mongering, and yeah, it's just we're reprogramming ourselves. It's like he also said in that he said, you know, all the TV and stuff you watch on YouTube and the internet and all that shit, all these shows. There's a reason it's called a program. It's fucking reprogramming your brain. You know, it's programming you. That's a reason. You know, they call it that. And it's desensitized people, and it programs your brain to start getting accustomed to seeing stupid shit all the time. And yeah, if you separated that and lived like it was before the internet and all that, back when you only had 3 channels, you actually thought for yourself. You actually had a clear thought process of the world around you. It wasn't influenced by other people's bad ideas and you thinking they were good ideas because other people had them, and it had to be a good idea because so many people had those ideas. And they're programming you. They tell you this is scary and that's scary, and this and that and this and that and this and that, and eventually you're afraid to go to fucking Walmart because somebody's going to go paint a LB or LG on the back window of your car and try to rob you and take your kids when you come out. And you ever notice all this fear mongering posts? It's always my friend's cousin or my wife's friend that she works with, sister, or a lady that I know from bingo met someone that said they saw this happen at such and such. It's never directly out of the horse's mouth. It's all propaganda that's made to scare the shit out of you. And you don't think that it's made to scare the shit out of you because it's, well, it's just one post. Oh, yeah. Years of posts after posts of shit kind of similar, but not really to that. That's scaring you about society. It changes your perception of society. It changes how you want to protect yourself in society. It changes your opinion on certain laws and it sways you to think, well, maybe there are more needs for this kind of weapon, or maybe I shouldn't be so open with this kind of information, or maybe I should treat people differently just because the way they look, because the internet shows me all these different peoples like this doing this kind of shit. They say that this certain type of person's done this. You know, it's always word of mouth. At the end of the day, it's just reprogramming your brain to think a certain way. So when you see these posts, you key in on it and you take that bait. You know, it's just, I'm all for that. Yeah, take a rifle, handgun with you if that's how you feel you want to defend yourself. Because I carry a gun everywhere I go. I'm never going to be one to tell you not to. I believe in freedom of choice. If you don't want to carry one, that's up to you. If you want to carry one, that's also up to you. Don't tread on me. I don't give a shit. You know, you do what you do, I do what I do, and we can be friends all day. You know, and I've always had that kind of mentality. And basically, all the fear mongering, like, it's treading on me. To be perfectly honest with you, you get all this shit off my chest. Since you asked what's bothering me, it treads on me. You're treading on me with all the bullshit that you're doing because you're trying to change my perception. You're using my children as leverage with the shit you teach them at school. You know, it's an endless spew of shit that's not like it used to be. And if you stop and think about it, You think of things a lot differently now than you did when you were a kid or a teenager. Hell, in your younger 20s, depending on how old you are. I know I do. You know, crime hasn't went up in my area whatsoever in 20 years or better. We don't sleep with our doors unlocked anymore, though. Why? Because of shit that you showed me on the internet. Nothing that I saw in my daily life caused me to do that because the crime hasn't went up. In fact, it's went down. It's very peaceful around here. I just certain things like that. You know, I still sleep with. I still leave my keys in my truck at night. You know, am I afraid somebody's gonna steal it? No. But if somebody does steal it, in the off chance that I get my shit back, I don't want the fucking column gutted because you had to hotwire my truck. I'd rather you be like, hey, this idiot left his fucking keys in here and started up and take off. If you get caught and I get my shit back, it's less likely I gotta fix the motherfucker to drive it again. So if you're gonna steal it, it ain't gonna matter if you got the keys or not. You're gonna fuck it up to get it. So I'm just gonna help you keep from tearing my shit up. You know, and I got kind of the same philosophy with my house. You know, when I leave to go somewhere, I lock it up. When we're at home, it stays unlocked because if you come in, I got something that's gonna fuck you up. It's really up to you to decide if it's worth coming through that door. You know, I let people have freedom of choice. And at the end of the day, I kind of hope their choice won't impact me. When it does, then I'll say something. It's so many people are afraid of so much stupid shit these days. It's ridiculous. You know, I just, where do you begin? Where do you end? You know, it's it's a lot of propaganda. It's to put you in fear and make you feel like you need more regulation. They ought to make it a law where if somebody's following you in a store, you could just fucking knock them out. Yeah, you sound like that's going to protect you because now you feel like you're free to knock someone out. But what happens if somebody feels like you're following them and they come up and fucking knock you out now and it's legal and now you're going to get up raising hell that they fucking assaulted you for no reason. You wasn't following them, but it's legal and there ain't shit you can do. And they just broke your fucking jaw or dislocated your eye and knocked your eye out of socket, you know? There's a tit for tat on every side of it. People, they're so quick for me. I want this law to help protect me because they said this is scary, but they don't ever think of the inverse of that. So they condition you to accept more regulation. And how do you get regulations from more government? Government gets rich off of making regulations. They have to pay special committees and all that shit and special interest groups to go and research shit and blah 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 blah. So they feed it to you constantly. So you're constantly coming to them to get more shit done, and they're constantly taking more money from you to do more shit against you that you think they're doing for you. You know. There's the way I look at it. If you're for more government regulation, that means you're against common sense. That means common sense is a flower that doesn't bloom in your garden. That means you're probably a fucking idiot. Because that means you don't consider yourself smart enough or capable enough to determine what's best for you. You need someone else to do it for you. You need someone to tell you shouldn't fucking do that to people. You need someone to tell you that you should defend yourself when someone does that to you. You need someone else to tell you to wipe your ass with this kind of paper because it saves the planet. It's just endless regulation on you just further confirms how much of a fucking idiot you think yourself to be. If you feel like you got a good grasp on this thing we all go through called life to where you're pretty good at keeping yourself going every day, you don't need the fucking government telling you what to do. You really don't. You should be able to just go and come as you please. You know, you should understand that it's beneficial to be a decent human being to other people. It's beneficial to not treat your neighbors like shit because what goes around comes around because it's your neighbor. You got to live beside them. So if you don't want to live in hell, be decent to your neighbor. And it's kind of one of them golden rules. You know, do unto others you have them doing to you. You don't want your fucking neighbor kicking your door in and taking shit beating your kids, don't, and your wife, don't fucking go kick his door in, take his shit, beat the fuck out of him, his kid, and his wife. It's common courtesy. Common courtesy gets you a long way, you know, tit for tat. It's just regulation, more regulation on you. If you hope for more regulation, like Lawrence just said, every single law takes some of your freedom away. No, the government sucks at anything. Every fucking thing. I mean, they suck at running everything. Anything government ran sucks. I mean, let's just look at the VA, for instance. That's been government ran since it started. VA sucks, in case you aren't picking up on my. Look at all these other countries where the government controls food and controls. More regulation means less freedom, less right to choose, less right to do anything. You know, there's certain laws that are basic to human survival. Thou shalt not kill, don't steal, don't rape. You know, all the violent shit, all the crooked ass laws, embezzling, that's under stealing. You know, if you follow the 10 Commandments, and I'm not meaning to make it a religious thing, but even if you pull the 10 Commandments out of religion and just push the religion to the side and look at the 10 Commandments, those are pretty good solid rules. 10 rules that are pretty solid foundation for all walks of life, all religions, race, creed, nationalities. Those 10 Commandments, pretty good fucking guideline to go by. You go by those, you ain't gonna be breaking no other laws. That's why they're the 10 Commandments, at the base of everything. If you follow those like you should, you ain't got to worry about wondering if something's illegal or not, because it's not. Yeah, military grade. People forget to realize that the military chooses the lowest bidder. Who can get it done the cheapest and the fastest. All right, guys. That horn is my signal. My sister's here to pick up my children, so I got to go make sure they got all their shit together. And thanks for hanging out with me. We'll see you guys next time. Hopefully it won't be a month and a half for my next stream. We'll see you. Later.